It's the stuff of science fiction, growing body parts from scratch using a person's cells.
What's being called a medical breakthrough. Scientists say they have rebuilt part of a human bladder and successfully implanted it into several patients.
In creating much-needed vital organs. Some experts are calling it a medical milestone.
Thank you. There is nothing more devastating for a surgeon in need than not having an organ for a patient who needs it. In the U.S., we're only able to meet 15% of the need for donor organs.
We work at the Institute for Regenerative Medicine at Wake Forest University School of Medicine. Our mission is to develop the science necessary to grow the needed organs in a laboratory.
It is medical fact. Researchers say they have grown entirely new organs from the cells of patients.
Caitlin's bladder was the size of a thimble and could not sustain normal amounts of fluid, causing major damage to her kidneys. Dr. Anthony Atala, a urologist at Wake Forest University, believed creating an entirely new bladder using her own cells. So how does it work? Well, a small piece, less than the size of a postage stamp, is taken from the patient's bladder. Both muscle and bladder cells are teased out from that piece of the bladder and grown in a petri dish. When there are a sufficient number of cells, they're layered onto a three-dimensional mold, shaped like a bladder, and they're allowed to grow. Several weeks later, the cells have produced a newly engineered bladder, which is implanted into the patient. Several more weeks later, the new bladder has grown fully inside the body and can function on its own. All 7 patients who underwent the procedure, including Caitlin, report dramatic improvements. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN, reporting.
In order to produce tissues and organs in the lab, we need the right mix of ingredients, combining structural materials with living cells. We've recently made some major breakthroughs in that area.
Wake Forest and Harvard researchers have announced that stem cells in amniotic fluid hold the same promise as stem cells from an embryo.
Stem cells to treat disease have been given a boost by scientists in the United States.
The discovery of a new source of stem cells.
Scientists at Wake Forest and Harvard universities have discovered a new source of stem cells.
They grow just as rapidly as human embryonic stem cells.
And they are easier to obtain. These stem cells can be taken from the amniotic fluid during pregnancy or from the placenta at birth. And with more than 4 million births a year in the United States, the supply could be plentiful.
The new source of stem cells is accelerating our ability to grow organs in the laboratory. A team of scientists are working on 22 different organs and tissues.
Regenerative medicine is opening up new frontiers in medicine. The possibilities are only limited by our imagination and a national commitment to succeed.